Good evening, folks. Welcome back to the channel. It's great to see you. It always is. I hope you're doing well. We've got the second round over in the Winston Salem today. As always, we will be going through each and every one of these matches that we've got. Make sure you get your comments in with your predictions. Anything that I'm going for personally will be in that pinned comment. Feel free to take a look at that, and you can take it if you want, leave it if you must. It is entirely up to you. Before we get started, like the video. If you'd be so kind, get yourself subscribed to the channel. If you're not already, we do continue to grow each and every day. Get yourself involved. It would be an honour to welcome you to the squad. Very well then. Now all that is out the way. First things first, how did we get on yesterday? Did we enjoy the matches? Yes, no. Did we win? Did we lose? Did we just come close? I was very lucky that Jannik Sinner just happened to pull out of that match, although it was a shame. He was clearly in no state to see that one through. I ended up with just Fuscovics. Very small chunk of profit, but a very small chunk of profit is better than no profit at all, so I will certainly be taking that. We remain undefeated over in Winston-Salem. Let's see if we can keep it up and carry it on into day 3. But get yourself involved, share with the group, don't be shy. And we shall get straight down to business, folks. Let's get it on. So first off, today we've got Martin Fuscovics and Griekspoor. Very interesting indeed. We've seen this matchup 3 times. In the past, the head-to-head is 3-0 to Martin Fuscovics in this one. There just seems to be something about Fuscovics that Griekspoor can't seem to figure out. He's never really came close to beating this guy. Fuscovics beat him last year on the clay. Straight sets. Wimbledon 2023, straight sets, and then Rotterdam once again, straight sets. Not even a set, not a single set from Griekspoor in this one, and he comes in as a very slight favourite as well, 1.7 to be precise. I would imagine every time in the past I would have been faced with this matchup, it probably would have been somewhat the same. You know, who's the better player? Who do you think's the better player? I'd still say Griekspoor. I would. Given what I've seen lately, I would not trust Griekspoor to get this one done. It may just be me. You know, ever since that title over in Mallorca, excuse me, he's been quite shit, to put it plainly. Won 2 games out of the last 7, one to Napolitano in the Bundesliga, and then 1 to Pellegrino, a very close one over in Busta. And then he is currently on a 3-game losing streak. Jesper de Jong in the quarterfinals in Busta. And most importantly, the back-to-back first round exits over in both of them Masters. Etcheverry, he looked fucking awful. He looked horrendous against Etcheverry. And then just kind of got outpowered by Medjedovic over in Cincinnati. Given the form, there's not much to suggest that he's going to get this one done. I mean, especially if the head-to-head is anything to go off, you wouldn't say he stands much of a chance in this one. He is still a favourite. I would still say, the head-to-head's still not putting me off. It's weird. Isn't that weird? Given the head-to-head, it's still not putting me off of this one. That doesn't mean I'd go anywhere near Griekspoor. Absolutely not. Given what we've seen, it would have to be Martin Fuscovics, even for the set, while he's a dog for a set in this one. I think you should be quite alright with that. You know, there's been times this season we've seen Griekspoor play lights out tennis, and then there's been times, pretty much like the recent times, he's played like absolute crap. So I couldn't trust him to get this one done. Could not trust him to get this one done. This will always seem like a very winnable match for Griekspoor, but history would suggest otherwise. I would probably look at Martin Fuscovics just to pinch a set in that one. And then next up we've got Bautista Agut, Christopher O'Connell. Probably just go back to the well. Christopher O'Connell, why not? He looked alright. Well, he looked more than alright against Roman Safiullin. We kinda had a feeling he was going to get that one done. 6-3. Happy days. Last time out, Bautista Agut did get beat by Ben Shelton in the 3rd round in Cincinnati, but it weren't a bad beat. It was quite a close game as well, tie-break in the first, 6-3 in the second. Not too great when it comes to hardcore tennis, especially this year. 3 wins, 7 losses for the Spaniard. 2 of the 3 coming in Cincinnati last week, so maybe he's going to play a lot better now we've come back to the hard court. Maybe he's found something different this time round. Who knows? Shall remain to be seen. But given what we know and what we can see, that's far from promising coming into any matchup. On the surface, these have played each other once before, 2 years ago. Similar conditions over in Doha. 3 sets, hard court, went the way of the Australian. He's quite a big dog in this, 2.4, somewhat similar to what he was against Roman Salem. I think he's better. Maybe not overall, but I don't know. You tell me. I wouldn't mind just going back to the well with Christopher O'Connell today. Absolutely not. I think I've seen enough against Roman Salem to suggest he should be good, to at least give the Spaniard a very good go today. Take him for the set once again while he's a dog. I mean, given the surface, it would have to be Christopher O'Connell, right? 13-8 this year, as opposed to 3-7. I'm not going to say he's much more trustworthy, because maybe that's not the right word, but I think on this surface alone, it would kind of have to be Christopher O'Connell. It just sort of would it not? I don't know. Maybe I'm just going to go round in circles and overthink this one. He ain't been too great all year round. I'll give him that. Not for one, as to be honest with you, 15-21 for Bautista the Goose, 17-21 for Christopher O'Connell. You would have to just go off what you know, what the numbers would suggest, and pretty much just what you've seen as of late. I thought Christopher O'Connell looked alright over in Toronto. Got it done against Seng and Tsitsipas, had to pull out against Munar. Comes back to the Winston Salem and gets a very easy and convincing win against Roman Salem. I'd have to assume he's just in better shape. It's usually the case with Bautista. How's he going to hold up? I'm not too sure. O'Connell has already got a game under the belt in Winston-Salem, and he looked alright doing it as well. I suppose the pick would remain the same. I would still lean towards the Australian getting that one done. Maybe just make it a bit easy for yourself. Take him for a set. I would be surprised if Bautista the Goo was to turn up and take out Christopher O'Connell in straight sets in that one. And then next up we've got Blanch, Alexander Muller. Bit of a tough one. Hey, look, fair play to Blanch. Say what you want about Perricard at the moment, but this kid's only 17, is he? Am I correct in saying that? To be 17, to come in to the main draw, get a win in straight sets against Perricard. Happy days. He looked decent in qualifying too. Look equally as good against Perricard. I would have to assume Alexander Muller is going to give you a bit of a tougher time than that. I'd like to think Alexander Muller would be more than capable of dealing with this level of opponent. And that's not taking anything away from the young lad, but there is levels to this. If we're talking hard court game, 31-10 for the American, 10-8 for Alexander Muller. The calibre of opponent that these are used to seeing are pretty much night and day. Let's not forget, Alexander Muller did get that title at the start of the season on the hard court, so there is that. He does possess a fairly decent, well-rounded game, but I would just have to assume in this one that he beats him. What is the price? You may say 1.4 for the Frenchman in this. Doesn't seem bad. In hindsight, it may seem like an absolute steal. It's not the best price, but I think I kind of would be surprised if Blanch came into this and beat him, although he does possess a fairly decent game, lefty as well. I noticed that. Could give Alexander Muller a little bit of trouble, but like I said, at this point in his career, given the experience and whatnot, I would like to think Alexander Muller has more than enough to deal with the game of Blanch today. So we shall move on to Mpetshi Perricard and Pedro Martinez. Mpetshi Perricard has to win this. Gio has to win this game. Now that doesn't mean that he will, but in my opinion, he's got to win it. This is a must win for the Frenchman, in my opinion, folks. 1.5. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that 1.5. Actually, I don't know what price you would have to give me in this in order for me to take Giovanni and Mpetshi Perricard. He's won 3 games. Well, he's won 2 games since the French Open. Very scruffy match against Roman Safiullin in Stuttgart. We did take him in that one. And then one against Mochizuki over in Toronto. It ain't looking good. It ain't looking good. I mean, a bit of saving grace for him. It is Pedro Martinez. If there is ever a match for you to win, I'm not saying it's a total layup, but he really should be winning this. He really should. Pedro Martinez is anything but a hardcore player. We all know that. Got himself a couple of wins in the past week or two. Nicholas Jarry in 3, and then a rather impressive one against David Goffin, but that is not saying much. I ain't going to waste much more time on this because Giovanni and Mpetshi Perricard should be too much for Pedro Martinez. 1.5. I mean, you should be able to take that and not think twice about it. I do think an upset could be brewing. If Pedro Martinez was to take out Gio today, you'd feel sick. You would feel sick. This kid is in really bad form. Really bad form. 14 and 17 on the season, 6 and 8 on the hard court. Pedro Martinez not much better, 16 and 25, 4 and 8 on the hard court. You know, considering this guy is much more suited to the clay. He's only lost 2. Well, Gio's only won 2 more games. That's it. 4 and 8, 6 and 8. Oh, it's just not looking good. Just not looking good. I would have to assume the Frenchman gets this one done, folks, but I would not be giving him the opportunity to let me down today. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Gio or nothing, providing you're brave enough to take it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't go anywhere near that one. Right, so next up is Kecmanovic and Kovacevic. Should be a decent one. I'm quite looking forward to this one. Getting Kecmanovic around 1.6 now. The first thing straight off the bat, this opened up around 1.8 and he's now sitting at 1.65, so quite a bit of cash coming in on Kecmanovic overnight. And I'll just say this while we're talking about Kecmanovic as well. It remains the same. You know what I say all the time about this guy. He always drops a set. He can't help himself, win or lose. Kecmanovic pretty much always drops sets. You could bet your fucking mortgage on it, I'm telling you. Is he going to drop onto Kovacevic today? I mean, he didn't in Miami. He didn't, which is probably not... doesn't fill me full of hope coming into this one if I was taking Kovacevic, that is. But he did look good against Filip Mislic in the first round. He was kind of struggling prior to this tournament, so I was rather pleased to see him get back to winning ways. Or is he back to winning ways? I imagine we will most definitely find out in this one. I don't know how I feel about that price for Kecmanovic. In fact, I do. I'd tell you how I feel. I don't really agree with it. I don't agree with it. Maybe a lot of people know something that I don't. I kind of like Kovacevic for the set in this one. I do. Given what I know, and given the formula that works pretty much every single time, if not all the time with Kecmanovic, you'll come out and win the first, drop the level in the second, or you'll either come out and drop the first, pick it up in the second, and then more often than not, it just enters God's hands in the final set with Kecmanovic. But I'd be willing to roll a dice on that, I think. I really would. The only concern for me in this one is pretty much the only concern with players like Kovacevic, the one-hander. I feel like a player like Kecmanovic should be smart enough. If I'm smart enough to identify it, I know Kecmanovic should be able to pepper the backhand of Kovacevic. He possesses a very strong game from the baseline, does Kecmanovic. So that could prove to be a bit of a problem. It was last time. It could be rinse and repeat for Kecmanovic today. I think I'd be willing to say otherwise. I like Kovacevic, man. I really do. Very strong game. Like I say, very tough to beat. If this is we may not know it just yet. He did look good against Filip Mislic, but I suppose we'll have to see him in this one to know for sure. But if this is anything like Los Cabos Kovacevic, I feel like he beats Kecmanovic today. I really do. If he's good enough to take a set off him, I'd say he's good enough to beat him. I really would. While he's a dog, I think Kovacevic for the set, given what we've seen pretty much all season out of Kecmanovic, I'd say that's alright. I wouldn't call you crazy for going with that. So next up, we've got Gabe Diallo, Nishesh Basavareddy. Oh, you know what? I'd love to sit here. I would love to sit here and say it's as easy. And you know what? It may just be as easy as it looks in this one. Gabe Diallo around 1.6, taking on Nishesh Basavareddy. You can't deny the form. We cannot deny the current form of Nishesh. You know, he's only lost, is that 4? 4 of his last 10 going back to Los Cabos. 6 and 10. It's a lot better than what we've seen pretty much all season. You have to give him that. He flew through qualifying, absolutely destroying everyone as well, and then he done pretty much the same to Rafael Collignon. Yet to drop a set over in Winston-Salem, as he found what he's been looking for all season. It fucking took long enough. It's took long enough, I'll tell him that. Gabe Diallo, on paper it does look a little bit patchy since we have returned to the hard court. He's went 1-1 in all 3 tournaments: Washington, Toronto, Cincinnati. Beat Fabian Madison, Matteo Gigante, Sebastian Baez, all in straight sets. Happy days. But then, you know, you say he's went 1-1. If you look at the losses, he had to play Ben Shelton, Taylor Fritz, and then Yannick Sinner, and he lost all of them in straight sets too. So no shame in that. There's no shame in getting beat by the best, as I always say. I'd love to. Actually, I think I do. I kind of just think Gabe Diallo is just going to beat Basavareddy today, regardless of the form. Look at the size of him. He should just be too big, too powerful, just too much, too good on these quick court for Nishesh. I think he should be a bit too hot to handle. Providing I'm right, providing all goes well. Gabe Diallo, I mean, he's went 13-11 on the hard court this season. That's all right. That's fine. Safe to say we most definitely seen the best version of him over on the grass. But I think this calibre of opponent, like I said, regardless of the form, is much more suitable to the likes of Gabe Diallo. I think he should be able to feast upon him. I do. How much am I taking from the qualifying wins? You know, Alex Rybakov, Tristan Schoolcase, Rafael Collignon. I mean, Gabe Diallo is nearly in the top 30 now. And there's been times throughout the season where he's played like a top 20, you know, top 10, if you'd go that far. I'd like to think his game would be too much for Nishesh to handle today, and I would probably have to back him to get it done. So we'll crack on to Mackenzie McDonald and Luciano Darderi. Nightmare. Absolute nightmare to predict. I think whenever you try and find an angle on this one, the other one just cancels it out. It really does. Given it's the hard court, I would have automatically leaned more towards the American in this one, and we are in the States, so maybe that'll give him that little extra edge that he needs. They've played each other once before, back in 2023, and that did go the way of Mackenzie McDonald on the hard court, 6-4, 6-2. I kind of think he's going to win this one. I kind of do. Luciano Darderi, we know how good he is on the clay, there's no question. No questions left to ask about the clay court game of the Italian. Absolutely not. But on the hard court, though, I mean, okay, he didn't hold up against Comasani. He did have to pull out. I do believe that somewhere within Luciano Darderi lies a fairly decent hard court player. We are just yet to see it. 1 win, 6 losses this year. 1 win, 9 losses last year. 3-3, 0-1. It's not good. It ain't looking good. Most certainly prefers the clay. Much more suited to the clay. Mackenzie McDonald just ain't been in the best of form. This is probably the only thing that's putting you off, although it probably shouldn't, given the surface. The back-to-back titles for Darderi and then the loss to Comasani, although he did pull out of that one. McDonald's won 4 games in his last 10. This is dating back to Queens. He's beat Monfils, Colton Smith, David Goffin and Brandon Holt. It's not much to write home about, is it? To say the least. He's a dog in this one as well. What? Oh, Luciano Darderi's a favourite. I don't think I agree with that. Although my eyes could be playing tricks on me in this one. I'm seeing McDonald opened up around 1.55 and he's now sitting as a dog 1.9. Is that right? Is that right? I don't know. Maybe that should answer right there, folks. Shit ton of cash coming in on the Italian in this one. Do we agree with that? Based on what we've seen, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. Providing it's true, it kind of looks like it's true. All the books are giving me the exact same thing here. 1.55 to 1.6 is what McDonald opened up at. Immediately shot to 1.8, and now we're talking. Call him an even money dog. Strange things. Something is afoot in this one, folks. Maybe I wouldn't lean towards McDonald. I don't know. I'm not letting the majority make my decision for me. I would have said McDonald before the match started. I do believe Darderi is a much better player on the clay from what we've seen. But so far, on the hard court, we have not seen nothing, absolutely nothing, from this lad to suggest he's gonna do much in this. I mean, it's McDonald, nothing personal, but Luciano Darderi is 34 in the world. McDonald's not even in the top 100. Maybe the surface won't matter much in this. Maybe, but it's all we've got to go off. Maybe expect a tight one. I'm going to watch it. I can't wait to see it. Should be very interesting indeed. And then next one, we've got Medjedovic and Jacob Fearnley. That kills me to do it. I would have to go against me boy today. I think Medjedovic is going to beat him today. I really do. You know, it seems like quite some time ago we were watching Jacob Fearnley play some shit hot tennis. That kind of dried up, didn't it? Kind of dried up. Dropped right out of form towards the end of the grass campaign, rather unfortunately as well, prior to Wimbledon. Just couldn't get a win. And then coming back to the hard court as well, he's kind of struggled. Fuscovics has beat him, Zizou Bergs has beat him. He had to drop down to the Challenger Tour. He went 1-1, had to pull out against James McCabe. So he's even fit enough to be in this one. I'm not too sure. If he turns up, that would suggest that he is, but how is he going to hold up against the relentless pressure of Medjedovic? I'm not too sure. You know, Medjedovic was one of them. He's sort of just he's been tiptoeing along, sleepwalking throughout the majority of the clay and the grass season, but then come back to the hard court. He seems to be doing more and more bits. You know, he really does. He's went 3-1 since we returned. Beat Kovacevic and Griekspoor in straight sets. Had a match, a pretty close one, covered the spread against Alcaraz, and then turned up and had a rather convincing win against Darderi. I think he possesses more than enough to get past Jacob Fearnley today, if I'm being honest with you. 1.5 for Medjedovic. Tempting. I'll feel dirty taking him away. I'll feel very dirty backing against Jacob Fearnley, especially if I take Medjedovic and I'll watch it and Jacob Fearnley turns up and fucking beats him. That won't feel good whatsoever. But I do believe Medjedovic possesses pretty much, I don't know. You know, when you see this guy playing good, he seems somewhat unstoppable. He really does. Somewhat untouchable with that big serve and that power. Said it before and I'll say it again. Blast the shit out of the ball. Not a lot you can do against Medjedovic when he's fighting. Absolutely not. I think Jacob Fearnley, he's a decent player. He's decent enough, 10-8 on the hard court. It's not too great. He started off the season a hell of a lot better than what he's done since we've come back. That much is for sure. I think Medjedovic is just a little bit more trustworthy in this. A little bit more trustworthy. Would I back him to get it done? Probably. If you can get him around 1.5, I'd say that is a rather sweet parlay piece, in my opinion. Better form coming into this one. Yeah, I'd have to take him. I would have to take him. I've seen nothing from Fearnley since we've come back to the surface to suggest he is going to be beating the likes of Medjedovic. Absolutely not. Right, so next one. We've got Navone, Marcus Giron. What an absolute nightmare. What an absolute nightmare this is to try and predict, given what we know, given the surface, which is probably the biggest giveaway of all. I suppose you'd have to say Marcus Giron. Would you have to say Marcus Giron? I mean, given the form of this guy, I don't know what it is. Since we've come back to the hard court, it's not working for Marcus Giron. Mensik beat him in Wimbledon. Jamie Munar beat him in straight sets. He looked awful against Munar. Manarino beat him in Toronto. We We said it, didn't we? Mannarino will do that to you. Certainly, he absolutely will. And then Alexander blocks in Cincinnati, and we said that was probably going to happen too. Now, I don't know. I don't know whether it's just a little bit of a rough patch, a bit of a bump in the road, or whether he is just bang out of form. That would suggest to me Marcus Giron is really struggling at the moment. I don't really know why. Coming into this one, he plays Mariano Navone, who, like I said, given what we know, given the surface, I never go anywhere near Navone on the hard court. It's just, I'm not saying it's an automatic fade, but I just can't trust him. He doesn't like the hard court. He doesn't play on it whatsoever. Marcus Giron's went 9-9. Navone's went 4-7. Much prefers the clay. No secret to us. He did win that game in the first round against Suresh, but you can say what you want. I know it looked alright on paper, 6-3, 6-3, but the reality is, I think someone who's not even in the top 600 doesn't really have much business taking out someone who is inside the top 80. That's just my opinion on it, hard court, clay or whatever. There's just levels, isn't there? Marcus Giron just can't beat anyone. Marcus Giron just cannot beat anyone at the moment. He comes into this one as quite a big favourite, and I expect it to. 1.6. 1.6, I mean, I suppose he has to win. We're in the States, we're on the hard court, all the signs, apart from the form, which is a very big red flag at the moment, but all the other signs would point towards Marcus Giron in this. If he's going to turn up fresh, ready to go, I would assume he can get it done against Mariano Navone. They've never played each other before, so there's nothing to go off in that regard. It'd be Marcus Giron or anything, but I would not be going anywhere near that one, absolutely not. And then next up, we've got Sebastian Baez and Carreno Busta. I'll be on with Carreno Busta to get this one done. Once again, shout out to the Spaniard for getting that one done for me in the first round against Nishioka. And he absolutely beasted him, didn't he? Bageled him, and then a 6-3. Happy days. Happy days. I was very, very pleased with that. But now he plays Sebastian Baez. And he comes into this one as a much bigger favourite. That's right, 1.45 for Carreno Busta in this one. Steep. I'd have liked a bit more, but wouldn't we all like a bit more? They played each other twice before, back in 2022, once on the indoor hard court. That was an absolute arse whipping by Carreno Busta, and then once in Monte Carlo the same year on the clay. Bit closer, but that also went the way of the Spaniard. Look, times have changed. Doesn't really mean much coming into this one. The eye test beats all in this, it really does. Not only the eye test, just what we know in general. Sebastian Baez can't play on the hard court, there you go, I'll just say it. Now, there may be a couple of you with really good memories. Well, it was 2 years ago, but you know what I mean. You might be sitting there going, Sebastian Baez has actually won this tournament before. That's right, 2023, he did win this very title, but ever since, he has done fuck all. Jack shit, absolutely nothing. 1-5 this year. The only win was a rather convincing one against David Goffin. Now, Pablo Carreno Busta, it's a roll of the dice with this guy at this point, whether he's going to hold up, all this stuff, the fitness and whatnot. 16-7 on the surface is a hell of a lot more promising than what we've got from Sebastian Baez. You look at the rankings, I don't think it'd do it justice. 40 in the world for Sebastian Baez. He'd done all that damage at the very start of the season over on the clay. And then Carreno Busta's outside the top 100, 113. I get it. But I do think Carreno Busta's going to get this done. I would have to believe he's going to get this done. We've seen him do this in this exact tournament last season, did we not? Did we not see him do this last year in the Winston Salem? We did. Semi-final last year, and then he goes deep pretty much every time he's here. Semi-final, quarters, semis, second round, winner, quarters. You're going back quite some time there, but it's just food for thought. I have a little rule with Carreno Busta, and it's very rarely in play anymore. Very rarely in play. But when the going's good with this guy, you've just got to take it. The price isn't exactly that enticing, but 1.5 for Carreno Busta against Sebastian Baez on the hard court. Given the form he's in, given what we've seen against Nishioka, I would like to think he's got enough to get this one done. Would be one hell of an upset if Sebastian Baez. It may not seem like it on paper given the rankings, but he's a massive dog. He's nearly a 2-1 dog coming into this, and I agree with it. I would not be taking Sebastian Baez just for the price alone. I'd be taking the Spaniard, going back to the well with the Spaniard. He done right by me in the first round, and I would imagine he's going to do it again. And then we've got Botic van der Sandschulp, Matteo Arnaldi. Rough. Dog rough, this one. Odds are very close. I imagine it's going to be a tight one. They've played each other twice before, and every single time that you can barely split them. You can barely split the two. Van der Sandschulp has won the pair of them, 2023, and then he done them in Wimbledon this year. That's right, straight sets. There's been 2 tiebreakers in each of these matches, 4 tiebreakers in the 2 games. Now, if you'd have asked me who's the better player, I probably would have said Matteo Arnaldi. I probably would have said. Are we agreeing on that? If both of them turn up, we get the best version of the pair. We agree Matteo Arnaldi's probably just a bit better than Botic van der Sandschulp. I would have said that anyway. Seems to be a bit more trustworthy on the hard court, or well, he has been anyway. Van der Sandschulp 8-6 this year on the surface. Arnaldi 9-9. I just never know what I'm going to get with Matteo Arnaldi. The eye test is the ideal thing with this guy. I need to see him playing good in order to know that he's going to probably continue to play good. I can't just roll a dice and assume he's going to turn up and pull one out of nowhere. I thought Van der Sandschulp looked decent against Adam Walton. Everybody pretty much had this guy all but written off against Adam Walton. I kind of agree, all the signs did point towards the Australian in that one, but Van der Sandschulp remains, and now he takes on Matteo Arnaldi, who's he's went 3-3 since we've come back to the surface. Not too bad. Daniel Altmaier, Sonego, Schoolkate's been beat by Taylor Fritz, Zverev, and that close game with Benjamin Bonzi. So, not much to say about them, especially the Zverev game and the Fritz game. No shame in that. Absolutely no shame in that whatsoever. If history is anything to go off, and especially the head-to-head, I would probably lean towards another over in this spot. Matteo Arnaldi is 1.7. It's not too bad. Like I said, this could be the game where he turns up and looks really good. And at 1.7, we could be sitting here tomorrow going, what an absolute steal that was. What an absolute steal. I think Botic van der Sandschulp's just in a little bit, he's in a better run of form, bit more momentum behind him coming into this one. He played all through. We see he had a decent run over in Kitzbühel, didn't he? Bundesliga, dropped down to the Challenger, came back up. Seems to be I kind of think I'm seeing a bit more from Van der Sandschulp at the moment than what I am from Matteo Arnaldi. Lean towards an over, either one, for a set, while the price is the way it is. Right, we've got a couple more, and then I will let you go about your business. So we've got Matteo Bellucci and Jaume Munar. I kind of want to go with Matteo Bellucci in this one, I kind of want to go with him. He looked decent against Comasania. And like we mentioned in the previous video, it does somewhat seem like he's kind of turned it around, in regards of form. Anyway, he did take the title over on the Challenger Tour prior to this one, come in against Comasania as a very slight dog, 6'4", 6'3", nice. He's clearly got the momentum, clearly feeling very confident in his abilities. At the moment, Jaume Munar, as we all know, has made, I always say it, and I've said it all season, made significant improvements to his hardcourt game. Not only just that, just pretty much his entire game in general. But in this spot, it would be his hardcourt game. He does enter this game as a, pretty much, 1.5, that is a big favourite. That's a big favourite, maybe a bit bigger than what I would have expected. But providing you fancy a go of the Italian today, I imagine 2.5 is more than fine by you. Is it just me? I don't know. I think Bellucci might just be a bit of a form player. I think given the confidence and given the form at the moment, I would like to assume he could be good for at least a set, just at least a set of Jaume Munar. Although, like I said, he has made improvements, significant improvements. He's still not the most trustworthy, but neither is Matteo Bellucci, far from it. It was only pretty much up until lately that you wouldn't have went anywhere near this guy. And especially with a price like that, Munar being priced so high, I don't know how I feel about that. Is that right? Do we agree with that? I don't know. He opened up at 1.3. Absolutely not. Get the fuck out of here. That can't be right. 1.3, 1.4. Wow. So there's already been a bit of cash coming in on the Italian. He's very aggressive. He's 100 mile an hour. He could definitely stifle Jamie Munar. 100%. I just think for Bellucci to win this one, everything has to go right. He has to be able to assert his game, play his game exactly how he wants it. Jamie Munar may just have something to say about that, like he does more often than not. He's hard to play against. He's a good sleeper, man. He's a good sleeper. I don't think I agree with him being 1.5 in this one. I did expect him to be a favourite, if only just slightly. 1.3 opening odds is fucking absurd in this one. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'd be willing to roll a dice on this one, I think, and take Matteo Bellucci for the set and just bite the bullet and test the form. Let's see if the form is for real. Maybe just take him straight up. If Bellucci's going to win this, it'll probably be a straight set one. No rest in between. He did play yesterday. He's got to play again today. So let's see. We shall see. So who's next? Got two more. One of them will take seconds, and then the main one for us to finish up on, I suppose, is Tsitsipas and Boo. Now, I would believe Tsitsipas can win this game, absolutely. That is not out of the question. He is quite a big favourite, 1.4, kind of getting better prices. I say better prices, I mean, given the current state of him, it's probably not that good of a price, but 1.4 for Tsitsipas against Boo. Any other season, you would have taken that in an absolute heartbeat, but Tsitsipas is far from trustworthy at the moment. Far from trustworthy. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Maybe he's on his way back. Maybe he's made some necessary changes and he is on his way back. But even if that's the case, if you'd ask me, I think it's going to take a little bit of time for him to start getting back to where he let's just say where he needs to be, you know, as opposed to where he wants to be, because the game that he possesses at the moment, I fear he may never get back to the Tsitsipas that we all know and love. But that's neither here nor there. I'm very hopeful for him. As of late, it's been fucking terrible. It's been fucking terrible. Let's just say it how it is. You know, it ain't been good, especially by this guy's standards. 3 wins in his last 10 since the French Open. He's beat Darderi, Big Foe, and Fabian Madison. Aye. Last time out, we seen him in Cincinnati. He got beat by Benjamin Bonzi. We took the over on that one. We kind of knew Benjamin Bonzi was going to upset the apple cart there. Boaz just had a very close game with Singh. Very close game indeed. Now, given the odds on that one, I thought it would have been a little bit closer. I mean, a little bit more convincing than that. But apparently not. It's tough, man. It's tough because if Tsitsipas turns up and looks like shit, you'll sit there and go, oh, I expected this. Oh, I expected this. But then if he turns up and just gets it done like a 6-4, 6-3 against Boo, like a straight set, you'd sit there and go, oh yeah, I expected that too. It's very tough. Very tough. He doesn't feel like a 1.4 favourite in these matches at the moment, does he? If we're being real. I don't think I could trust him at that price. I do think he should be winning. I would like to see Tsitsipas get this one done prior to the US Open. It's now or never to try and gain a little bit of speed, pick up a bit of momentum prior to the Grand Slam. But last thing you want to do if you're Stefanos Tsitsipas is get sent home in the first round against Boo and then just be going into the US Open freezing cold. Freezing cold. I feel like he could do with a little bit of a run in the Winston Salem. Whether we're going to get it or not is entirely up to him. But like I said, at 1.4, I don't feel like I have that much trust. Certainly not 1.4 worth of trust in Tsitsipas at the moment. So we will wrap this shit up with Lorenzo Sonego and Stefan Dostanic. He got past Alexander Vukic, didn't he? And he got past Alexander Vukic in straight sets, 6-4, 6-2. That is the way of the Vukic, I'm afraid. How much weight does that hold coming into this one? I'm not so certain. I don't want to take anything away from the from the American in this one, but is he going to get past Lorenzo Sonego? Is he going to get past Lorenzo Sonego? I think not. I think not. Getting past Vukic, turning up, pulling off the upset and looking really good against Vukic is one thing. Doing it against Lorenzo Sonego, win or lose, even if Sonego is not exactly playing his best, he's still very hard to beat. He's tough to beat, man. His service games are very, very strong. If you can't break this service, Sonego, I fear it may just be Sonego in 2. Maybe Sonego in 2. I imagine this lad is a massive dog. 6.6. Oh my god, 6-1 dog again. Now look, forget what I just said. In a matchup like this, the rule does apply. It's Lorenzo Sonego. It's not Yannick Sinner or Carlos Alcaraz. But 6-1. Given what we've just seen, absolutely smoked Alexander Vukic. If he can do that to him, I would like to think he could cover what is essentially going to be around the 5.5 spread against Lorenzo Sonego. Food for thought, just food for thought. If you're approaching this, if you're trying to attack it just with the value in mind and value alone, it'll be the dog on the spread. Maybe take the dog straight up. Maybe he's just, I don't know, maybe he's deceivingly good. Maybe this guy's going to win tournaments, and 6-1 is just, oh my god, imagine taking that and it comes in. That'd be great. Someone take that so I can hope it comes in for you. No, I'm only joking. 1.12 for Lorenzo Sonego is an absolute fucking disgrace, if you'd ask me. An absolute disgrace. I would like to think he can at least keep it within spread range against Sonego. I'd like to think so anyway. He's been alright. I mean, well, he's went 2-3 since we've come back to the hard court. He's beat Boo and Zizou Berg's gotten beat by Rublev, Arnaldi and Taylor Fritz. Quite the step up from a Stefan Dostanic, if you'd ask me. Sonego, you've pretty much, you can't lose this one, mate. You are entirely expected to get this one done, and rightly so. But if Dostanic wants to turn up and upset the apple cart, I will not be entirely against that. Absolutely not. Very well, folks, that's going to do us. Once again, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you watching the show. Make sure you like and subscribe before you go. I'd appreciate that too. Let me know what you're going for, best bets, all that stuff in the comments. Obviously, anything I'm going for will be in that pinned comment. We still remain undefeated because Yannick Sinner pulled out of that match. It was a shame, but he was clearly in no state to see that one out. Let's see if we can keep it intact. Right? Let's see what we've got. But I'll be seeing you around. You take care of yourselves, you take care of one another. It's the most important thing. And I shall be saying good day to you. See you in a bit, folks. Best of luck today. Enjoy the matches. See you tomorrow.